News up here at Adesa Wakanda, also live on TV3 Ghana, on Facebook and 3FM927 on Twitter, Instagram, and also on Facebook. We're live on 3news.com, also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. You can also join us, very interactive this evening on all the issues we're going to be talking about here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Coming up, the Electoral Commission of Ghana revokes its decision to supervise the NDC's primary slated for Saturday, May 13, over the injunction application by flag bearer hopeful Dr. Kwabena Duffuor. Details, as the Electoral Commission says, it would only supervise the elections as the primaries of the NDC if all legal issues associated with the event are resolved. Stay with us. We have an official statement from the Electoral Commission on this matter. It's going to be live on our Facebook page shortly. Stay with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. Also, a special prosecutor questions Asante Achim North Member of Parliament Andy Apiakobi over his claims that a businessman attempted to bribe NPP MPs to soften their stance on their demand seeking the removal of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta. We have details of what happened in Parliament earlier today. Take a listen.
I was only required to give a statement I have given.
And what does this mean for the invitation that you have
this
with
the OSP? This is a question that ordinarily would be reserved for me. They knew what they wanted to do and they sent the invitation. So this question will be better answered by them.
But for you made the allegations. Do you still stand by it?
It is not a very relevant question for now.
We have details of what happened in Parliament earlier today, where the investigators, the Office of Special Prosecutor, questioned the Asante Achim North Member of Parliament over those claims of attempted bribery. Stay with us. We have details of these and more with the latest in business, sports, and entertainment coming up for the next 60 minutes here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on 3FM 927 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. Let's get into the details now. And the primaries of the opposition National Democratic Congress, it appears to be in limbo, at least. The year-long internal reorganization exercise has hit a snag after the Electoral Commission delivered what many now believe is the final blow to the process following earlier establishment of some challenges. Now, Ghana's electoral management body says it will not supervise Saturday's primaries to avoid possible contempt charges occasioned by a suit by Dr. Kwabena Duffuor. Now, the former finance minister has dragged the NDC and his other aspirants to court, halting the presidential primaries until challenges with the electoral register is properly addressed. And put it on record, though, that the court would hear this particular injunction on Monday. That's what we do know now, May 15th. That is the date slated for the hearing of this particular injunction. But we've been knocking on the doors of the NDC to find out whether they've actually been officially served with this particular suit. What we've gathered so far is that with the court set to sit on May 15, Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC, Abraham Amaleba, means no worse in questioning the rationale behind the suit by Dr. Kwabena Duffuor when we spoke to him earlier today. We'll bring you details of that shortly and exactly what Abraham Amaleba has been talking about, the Director of Legal Affairs of the NDC. But Dr. Duffuor, as a campaign team, meanwhile, say they are unperturbed, that they want a full complement of the register. Antonio Edem, a senior spokesperson of Dr. Kwabena Duffuor's campaign.
I would not really engage the Director of Legal Affairs because what he's supposed to be doing is to be engaging the issues that normally the infractions that Dr. Duffuor's team have presented to the party. It's a 40-page document. And it's important to note that Dr. Duffuor should rather be commended for the speed and thoroughness and detail, paying attention to details that he exhibited through this process. The concern is not whether the aspirants got 200 and information or not. The concerns are the infractions that have been identified in the 220 constituencies that have been provided.
Well, so that's what you have there. That's Antonio Edem, a senior spokesperson for Dr. Dufour's campaign team. But while the NDC as a party works to resolve the challenges, the Electoral Commission has, at a meeting, rescinded its decision to supervise the presidential primaries until the challenges are addressed. Now, stay with me. We're going to go on to Facebook. If you go on our Facebook page, 3FM927 right now, we're going to post that's an official statement from the Electoral Commission, which we have secured a copy. Right now, go on to 3FM927. We'll put that official statement there for you. The Electoral Commission is citing the suit by Dr. Kwabena Dufour, in which they are copied. Chair of the Electoral Commission, Jane Mensah, said, quote, in order that we are not cited for contempt, the Electoral Commission has taken the decision not to supervise the conduct of the presidential and parliamentary elections until the determination of that particular case. And that's so far what we do know now, the decision taken by the Electoral Commission on this matter. Stay with me. Let's go on to the telephone now. And private legal practitioner and director of legal affairs of the NDC, Abraham Amaleba, is joining us on the telephone. Mr. Amaleba, thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us on Hot Edition. So this is the decision by the Electoral Commission. I don't know if this has been officially communicated to you, that they cannot supervise the elections, that the presidential primaries on Saturday because of this suit by Dr. Kwabena Dufour.
Yes, as a lawyer, I'm not surprised. I predicted this already. Yesterday, I told my members at a meeting that this is likely to happen. So I'm not surprised. Once the EC has been served, definitely they will have to stay their hands off. So I'm not surprised at all.
We understand there was a meeting with the Electoral Commission earlier today, correct?
That is true, but I'm not part of the elections committee, so I can't, and I wasn't there.
I see. But have any measures been put in place? Because from what we do know, there was a statement, a petition by Dr. Dufour's team to the party even before this suit. Has there been any effort to address the concerns they raised?
So this afternoon we filed an application for abridgment of time, and that has been fixed for Friday. And the abridgment of time is meant to have the motion argued on that day instead of 15th, which is the return date on the motion paper.
I see.
That is what we have done. If you are asking what has the NDC done, that is what we have done so far as lawyers.
Okay, so instead of the Monday the 15th, you want the suit to be heard on Friday?
Yes. In fact, I wanted it tomorrow, but the court said that wasn't possible, so they could only grant us Friday.
I see. But how about the specific issues that they raised, that data from only 220 out of the 275 constituencies have been verified, an exceptional list of 74,799 has been created, which cannot also be verified because of scanty information. It says for no credible reason, 3,910 eligible voters at the 220 constituencies have been disenfranchised. These are some of the things he stated in the rate.
220 albums, photo albums,
yes,
have been given to them. As at yesterday, if they had come for a meeting, we would have given them the full complement of the albums. So these are matters that can be resolved. You don't need a court to resolve them. And I've said that when you go to court, the court will simply say, go back and resolve them. So they are running to court. It's premature. And so, if they had attended a meeting yesterday and didn't run to court, they would have had a full complement. Now the photo albums are lying in the office, in the party headquarters. Are we supposed to carry those photo albums and look for them in their houses and give it to them? They refused to attend a meeting yesterday.
Were they aware of this meeting and refused to attend?
Yes. So, if you want, you can go step by step. They also say that 7,000 names have been included in the register, and that the register was bloated by 7,000 names. You know what they did? Because we have 9 executives in each branch, what they did was to simply do multiplication of the 9 in each branch by the number of polling stations we have, without including constituency executives who are supposed to vote, without including regional executives, without including national executives. without including MPs. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Everybody knows that when there's internal election, MPs vote, but they left them out. Can you imagine they even left out Dr. Dufour's own group, which is what? Former appointees. Then we turn around and say that the 7,000 is a bloated number. When the 7,000 is actually 9,000. We per our account, it's 9,000, not 7,000. So we want to add 2,000 to them. Those numbers are from the constituency, regional, national executives, former appointees, MPs. So why would you do that and go to court, claiming that the voter registry has been bloated?
No, and I'm reading that, in fact, that particular issue that you make reference to, he says in the suit that an exceptional list of 74,799 had been added as being created, which cannot also be verified because of scanty information.
The exceptional list is different from what I'm talking about. Now let's go to the exceptional list. Having concluded with the bloated one, and the bloated one, there's no bloating, and I've told you the bloated are the names of. Can you imagine that there's an internal election and that MPs are not voting? Those are the people who say they are bloated. Now the exceptional list are those who have not provided their photo ID, but they are delegates. The fact that you've not provided your photo ID does not disqualify you from voting. So such people do not have their details in their photo album, but they have their details in an exceptional list. So that when they come, they will have to provide their voter ID card numbers. They have to come with a EC voter ID card and show to the agent that this is my name. But my name cannot be found in the photo album. However, I am a delegate. Then they will look inside the exceptional list. If the name is there, then he votes.
I see.
I'm saying that most of the things that they have gone to court on are matters born out of ignorance, and they need some education. They talk about duplication of names. Me and you know that if there are duplications, what do? You delete. In fact, sometimes some computer will say delete, and you delete. It will show you. So, is this a matter that you must go to court on? So, it was possible to have sat down with them and resolve this matter. 4 years ago, when I was a member of the elections committee, there were complaints from other candidates. When the 6 people contested 4 years ago, there were complaints from Buzitano. There was a complaint from Gabra. What they did was to bring their IT experts, and we sat down and went through the names one after the other. That's how we do things. We don't run the court.
But, Mr. Malaba, why is it that these 74,799 people do not have their names in the photo album? Reason why you have to create another exceptional list for them?
The NDC, has no photo albums. In fact, let me tell you, we have guidelines. The guidelines does not talk about photo albums. The guidelines talk about delegate list. And the guidelines says that the candidates or the aspirants must be given they must be given the delegate list after they have been vetted. We have since given them the delegate list way back in March, all the aspirants. This photo ID, photo album, is just the doing of the party to say that we want to enhance the transparency and the fairness of the process. So we were now asking the constituency and the branches to provide us with photos of the delegates. Some delegates don't have photos. So this was now the time they were now compelled to have photos and bring them to the national headquarters. And so it delayed a little. But the main document that is used for the voting is the delegates list and not the album.
I see. But you would also not discount the concerns by anybody who raises concerns about, because the point that you made that the photo album was added so as to ensure another layer of credibility and transparency to the process. If anybody doesn't have the full complement of it, they would have reason to raise concerns, is it not?
You that yesterday, if they had entered that meeting, they had left their offices and come to the party headquarters and entered that meeting, they would have had a full complement. As we speak, those albums are lying in the office at the party headquarters.
I see. So the 55 albums that they say they don't have is available.
Yes, it's full. It's complete. It's complete.
I see. Do you have any idea why they didn't attend the meeting yesterday?
I don't know. They may probably be saying that they want to abandon that process and go to court. And yesterday is the day they file their processes in court. Or maybe they will say that I don't know. I don't know why they abandoned the process and ran to court when those registers were ready for them yesterday.
I see. Were the other two presidential aspirants in the meeting yesterday?
The way we do it, we don't meet them individually. And so in order not to create some suspicion, once the other party didn't come and didn't give us good reason not to come, else they would have included in their rate that we surreptitiously met two people or one side and left them. So we call off the meeting. In any case, they had a complaint. Those other people didn't have the complaint.
Okay, so there was a meeting that was set because Dr. Dufour's team didn't have a representative. You called off the meeting?
Yes, the meeting didn't take place.
So, do you know whether the other, like John Mahama and Kojo Bonsu, do their aspirants or that's their representatives have the full complement of the photo albums now?
That detail, I'm a lawyer. We have different departments. That particular detail, the question you're asking, that detail will be better given by the elections directorate.
I see, because that's the.
So I have not heard complaints from them. That is not had the full complement now, because I know the albums were ready as of yesterday. They had 220, I think so, and now it's less than 40 something, 47. That is yes.
Yes.
So they are there. They are there.
I see. I say this because this morning as well, Kojo Bonsu granted an interview to a radio station indicating that he supports this suit by Dr. Kwabena Dufour on the basis of some of the concerns that I have just put to you.
Yes, but did he say that he hasn't got full complements of the? We are talking about if we don't focus on one discussion and we are jumping everywhere. He has every right to say he's a supporter or he doesn't support, but you are not asking of full complements. So. And I've indicated to you that detail for me will be given by. But I know that the things are ready. Yesterday we had the first meeting, so the things are ready. And that was going to be one of the main items on the agenda to hand over the remaining 47. Them.
I see. But the motion you filed for the abridgment of time, has it been granted?
No. We are now going to move it on Friday. I told you we're trying hard to have it moved tomorrow, but the court said that they can only accommodate it on Friday.
Okay. Malaba, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Abraham Malaba is Director of Legal Affairs of the opposition NDC, giving some details there. So now we do know that the full complement of the photo album is actually ready. Now, this is in reaction to a number of concerns that Dr. Dufour captured in that shoot before the Accra High Court, seeking to injunct the presidential primaries of the NDC on Saturday. According to the plaintiff, data from only 220 constituencies out of the 275 constituencies have been verified. He also makes the point that an exceptional list of 74,799 has been created, which cannot also be verified because of scanty information. He also continues that for no credible reason, 3,910 eligible voters at the 220 constituencies have been disenfranchised. All these, lawyer Abraham Malaba has explained quite clearly today in the few minutes gone by why he believes, or the NDC believes, that all these concerns raised could have actually been clarified outside of the court. And in fact, there was a meeting that was expected to be attended by the aspirants or their representatives yesterday. Because Dr. Kwabena Dufour's team did not have a representative, the party decided to call off the said meeting. And he makes the point that all the other, that's the rest of the 47 photo albums left for them to give to the aspirants were actually available yesterday for pickup. So as we speak today, a full complement of the photo albums are ready at the NDC's headquarters for pickup. That addresses one of the major concerns that the Dufour team had, reason why they went to court. And in fact, we've been working on the telephone lines to get a representative of the team to speak to us specifically about this particular issue and other things that they raise concerns about. But as we speak, they say that they are going to stay on that suit and go to court. What we do know as well now is that the Electoral Commission has suspended its supervision of the presidential and parliamentary primaries of the NDC due to the injunction filed by Dr. Dufour, the fact-bearer aspirant. There was a meeting that was held earlier today. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, announced that in order that they are not cited for contempt, the Commission has taken the decision not to supervise the conduct of the presidential and parliamentary elections until after the determination of the case by the court of law. Earlier today as well, the flag-bearer aspirant Kojo Bonsu says he is worried about some anomalies which he says exist in the party's voter register. According to him, these suspected infractions have the propensity to affect the primary set for Saturday, May 13. His concerns comes in the wake of the raid filed by Dr. Konan Dufour at the Accra High Court, indicating that the party failed to provide the required details. I want to take to listen to him on Otek FM earlier today.
Copy. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? How are we going to get accreditation for our agent? What are we going to do? How are we going to get accreditation for our agents? Who will be was absolutely totally? Time and I'll be to come in the command. And mind you, we are doing 276 constituencies.
That's Kojo Bonsu earlier today. Mohammed Al-Hassan speaks for Kojo Bonsu, and he's joining us on the telephone as well. Mohammed, thank you so much for connecting with us on Hot Edition. So, what are the specific concerns of your candidate and the reason why he says he backs this suit by Dr. Konan Dufour?
Well, if I may correct you, not necessarily backing the suit to not let the elections come on. If you listen to his interview, that interview was even before the Dufour team went to put an injunction on the election. What his concerns are, like you just played in the interview, is that there are some discrepancies that needs to be done before the election is done. Like you rightly heard him, he's talking about accreditations for the polling agents, which needs to be, ready far in advance, at least a week or two, to the various candidates so they can send it across the country. Remember, this is a constituency election, will be done across all the constituencies. So if the headquarters in Accra is yet to release the accreditations, let's say 3 days or barely 3 days to the election, his concerns are that if somebody is in Zabzugu Tatale, somebody is in a remote area in the western region, in the Ashanti region, in the Volta region, how will we be able to transport all these to our agents across the country? And there are a few issues about some of the voter register lists in some of the constituencies. He's saying that why should it be that with just a few days to the day of election, we still have some discrepancies? And I think that it is only fair for anybody who is contesting an election like the flag bearer position not to be worried about some of these discrepancies. So he is not agreeing with the court issue. He's saying that these discrepancies that were also tailor-made known to the party by the Dufour team, he supports those things because he even indeed said that if we don't take care, somebody might go to court. If you listen to the full interview, somebody might go to court with these issues because they are of a great concern. So these are his concerns, that we should have been able to do all these things, far in advance, so that nobody will have the energy or will decide that he will take the party to court because they want the right things to be done before the election.
Fair point. And I wanted to understand the concerns that he raised, and you've given the details quite clearly. So even for him, even if these concerns are not addressed before election day Saturday, he would have no problems if the election proceeds?
Yes, if you listen to the interview, they even asked him that, so are you ready for the election? He said, yes, I am ready for the elections, even when the elections are ready to be done today. But then what the party needs to do to ensure that everything is ready, fair, for every presidential candidate is not done. So even if the election is going to be done today, I am ready because I've been across the country to do my campaign. So his concern is about the various discrepancies about things that needs to be done before the elections, which are not yet done. But for him, he's gone around the country, his campaign is spoken to the delegates, and if the elections is going to be done today, he's ready.
But you are at the Electoral Commission meeting with the various representatives and the party chairman as well, correct?
Yes, I was.
I see. And the EC has indicated that because of this particular suit, they may not be able to supervise the elections on Saturday?
Yes, they were quite clear that once there's a court case, they don't want to be found or go in contempt, against the court's rules. So what they want is that if the court matter is resolved, then they will come in. And clearly, the chairman of the party, Johnson Ketia, said that yes, the EC is right in saying that they may have to, step aside until the court issues are resolved. Because initially, the EC chair said they also got a letter from the Dufour team about some of these discrepancies. So they initially wanted to meet today to look at the discrepancies and how best they will be able to solve. But once now there's a court, case, injunction being placed on it, or one of the parties going to court, then it means that they have to step aside until they listen to what the court says. So had it not been for the court issue, they would have today wanted to meet the parties to look at how best to resolve the issues ahead of the election. So exactly what happened. The EC is stepping aside because they don't want to be found contempt, and the party chair agreed. And I was there when he spoke to the Dufour team that he wants to have an emergency meeting with them as soon as possible because this is a family matter. The NDC is a family matter. It's not about we fighting ourselves. If the right things needs to be done, we need to solve our problems, and then we can proceed. So I believe the party chairman might meet with the Dufour team either today or tomorrow to find an amicable solution so that if it's possible, we can hold the election. But if there isn't any amicable solution, then it means that we may have to wait until the court comes in and takes a decision. Then we would have a new date for the election.
Great point. So for the Kojo Bonsu team, you're only waiting for the outcome of this said meeting, and then you know what to do next, correct?
Exactly. We're only waiting if the party chair and the executives are able to resolve the issue with the Dufour team and they decide to either withdraw the case or find an amicable solution for the elections to happen this weekend. That's fine. If they have to postpone it and fix the new dates, we are always ready.
Mohamed, I thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
Mohamed Alassan speaks for Kojo Bonsu, one of three presidential, that's a flag bearer aspirants of the NDC ahead of the primaries on Saturday. Now, if you just joined us, the Electoral Commission says it will not supervise the NDC's primary scheduled for Saturday, May 13, until all legal issues associated with it are resolved. What we're hearing as well is that the party chair, that's Johnson Ketia, has asked for an emergency meeting between the hierarchy of the party and Dr. Kwabena Dufour's team to address the specific concerns that they raised. Stay with us here on your Election Command Center. We definitely will bring you a lot more details as and when it comes through. The This is Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. A member of parliament for Asante Achim North constituency, Andy Appiah-Kobe, has met a team of investigators from the Office of the Special Prosecutor over bribery allegations he made nearly some 8 months ago. The MP, who is a spokesperson for the over 100 majority MPs seeking the removal of Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, alleged that a wealthy businessman attempted to bribe the majority MPs to soften their stance on their demand to have the finance minister removed from office over the country's economic challenges. Following the claim, the Office of Special Prosecutor expressed interest in getting to the bottom of the matter and subsequently wrote to the Member of Parliament to assist with investigations. A few hours ago, a team from the Office of Special Prosecutor led by Director of Investigations Emmanuel Basintali Awudu met with the Member of Parliament in his office in Parliament. Andy Appiah-Kobe told parliamentary correspondent Komla Kluche he is willing to assist the investigators to get to the bottom of this matter.
I was only required to give a statement I have given.
And what does this mean for the invitation to that you have
This
with
is
the OSP?
a question that ordinarily would be reserved for me. They knew what they wanted to do and they send the invitation. So this question will be better answered by them.
But for you made the allegations. Do you still stand by it?
It is not a very relevant question for now. At the point where it becomes relevant, a response will come.
Will you be willing to testify?
I have already, what have I done? I have already appeared before the committee, so I have testified already. For me, the whole exercise is putting the law in practice. We are expanding the scope of the law. For me, it's for educational purposes. So they have found grounds to maybe advise themselves or amend their procedures or something. And I have also learned something of the prosecutorial powers reserved on them and the investigative powers reserved on them. But I've also reminded them of also the constitutional right of citizens that I uphold and elect at any given time.
As the Asante Achim North Member of Parliament, Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent Komla Kluche is with me in studio. Komla, you were there. You saw exactly what happened. What was the nature of the interaction like?
Well, this was a closed-door meeting. In fact, it was actually held in the conference room of the Speaker. That was where they had agreed. Yes, of course, he's an MP, still a sitting member of Parliament. So the agreement, from what I understand, was for the OSP to rather come to the presence of Parliament, for it not to appear as though probably he's under arrest or anything. No, because one, they were not even too sure what is actually the OSP was looking for. But that interrogation was had within the conference room of the Speaker. He was actually... he had a lot of support from some of his colleague MPs, especially some of those who were part of the 80 gang of NPP MPs who wanted Ken Ofori-Atta ousted. He had some support from them. But within the meeting itself, where the Director of Investigations was there, the MPs were not allowed to be in that meeting because this was a personal interrogation that they were doing for him. But he had legal support from the Parliamentary Service Board.
Right.
So Parliament itself had its legal department give him all the necessary legal support, irrespective of the fact that he himself is a constitutional lawyer and knows his rights. That's and all right. That.
I say, so this was a closed-door interaction.
Absolutely a closed-door one that lasted for just about 40 minutes. It was supposed to have also been continued with another interrogation with the majority leader, Oseche Mensah-Bonsu, but I understand he was available within his office, but the OSP did not meet him. They say that as and when they need him, they would contact him. But it does appear that they've actually had an arrangement that the OSP, whose office is just, adjacent to the Parliament building itself, that they should come to Parliament to be able to do this interrogation. So when I even asked him, when I used the word interrogation, in fact, he tried to correct me to say it wasn't an interrogation,
right?
But he was asked to give a statement, to which he did. As to what it was with the statement he gave, he was unable to tell. And two, I asked him, like in that interview, whether he still stands by the allegation that there was some influence that was trying to come their way. He said it was quite a wrong timing for the question, though.
I see, but he said that the invitation was based on corruption and corruption-related offenses. Did he give you a clear indication of what this was about, this particular reason why this meeting was occasioned in the first place?
No, he will not say much about this, but I mean, prior to him stepping into the meeting, I had a discussion with him, and he was actually even not too willing, if you like, to meet the OSP himself,
right?
Because he said, I mean, he was going to decline any. He used the word he was not going to be a witness, in this matter. I mean, he was raising issues about seniority and all that. But later on, I even saw, prior to him entering into the conference room, he had the notification from the legal team from the parliamentary service that, okay, it's not the OSP himself, but rather the director of investigations, Basintali. He was a bit hesitant, but I mean, the lawyers asked him, look, you've got to do it. Agreement has already been had. So go into the meeting, whatever you know, we are there to assist you. And they accompanied him. They walked him all the way upstairs to the speaker's conference room, where he had this interaction with the OSP. It appeared a bit of a friendly one. The OSP, I mean, they came in a team of about five investigators led by Basintali.
I see. And finally, before I let you go, Komla, I know there are other MPP MPs who are scheduled to appear before the Office of Special Prosecutor. Are they also going to follow the same format with the majority leader and the others who are penciled to appear before the OSP?
That is the indication that we get from the legal office from Parliament, but as and when the OSP is ready and reaches out to them, they will make these MPs available. But all of that will be held within the presence of the House. But as to how they had agreed or arrived at that arrangement, there's very little to be said about it. The OSP themselves were not willing to offer any word. Of course, these are investigators who will not say anything to you, especially when investigation is ongoing.
Great stuff, Komla. It's our Chief Parliamentary Affairs Correspondent. Thank you so much, Komla Kloche. It's live here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're also live on 3FM 927 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're also streaming on 3news.com all across the world. Now, news just coming through is that the National Democratic Congress, that's in fact the district court in Tamale, presided over by His Worship Amadou Isifo, has slapped a 3,600 Ghana cedis fine on the former NDC Northern Regional Communications Officer Hadi Baja and one Momoni Osman for assaulting a radio presenter of Dagbon Radio in Tamale. The two, who on Monday, May 8th, were arrested and kept in police custody for 2 days, appeared before the court on Wednesday. The accused persons, who were charged on 4 counts, pleaded guilty to all charges. The charges include conspiracy to commit crime, to wit, assault, unlawful entry, and threat of death. Now, the 4th count of threat of death was, however, later withdrawn by the prosecution. The defense counsel told the court that the accused persons have shown remorse and prayed for a non-custodial sentence. Before his ruling, the judge cautioned the defendants not to repeat such unlawful acts. He further urged hosts of political shows and their guests to be circumspect in their pronouncement and actions. The magistrate noted that such acts have the tendency of igniting conflict, citing Rwanda genocide and its devastating impact on its citizens as an example. The court then sentenced the accused persons to a fine of 300 penalty units, amounting to 3,600, or in default serve 18 months in prison. That's what's just coming through. Let's get into business now. Juliana Menuafol is standing by with the details. Julie, good evening. What's the latest in business?
So coming up this evening, Ghana's consumer inflation drops 4 months running to 41.2% in April. Good evening, and it's time for business news on Hot Edition. I am Menu Afo. I have details of this and many more coming up. In our first story, Ghana's consumer inflation drops 4 months running to 41.2% in April. This is a 6th-month low. However, prices of locally produced food items continue to be high. The slowdown in inflation could compel the Bank of Ghana to hold back on further increasing its policy rate.
41.2% that was recorded for the month of April 2023 signifies a 3.8 percentage drop relative to the rate that was recorded for the month of March 2023, which stood at 45.0%. From a food and non-food perspective, we recorded a 13.3 percentage point difference. We have seen a much sharper drop from a non-food perspective, as non-food dropped by 5.2 percentage points between the rate that was recorded in March 2023 relative to the rate that is recorded for the month of March 2023. From a food perspective, we saw a relatively smaller drop between the month of March 2023 and April 2023, with a drop of about 2.1 percentage points. In the month of March 2023, food inflation stood at 50.8%, and April 2023, 48.7%. On a month-on-month basis, with food inflation 4.3% for the month of April 2023, we identified 5 subclasses that recorded rates higher than the overall food inflation on a month-on-month basis, which was 4.3%. These 5 classes were led by tea and related products, 10.3%, followed by fruits and nuts, 7.8%, and the last of the 5 subclasses that recorded rates higher than the month-on-month food inflation of 4.3% was oils and fats that recorded a rate of inflation of 4.6% for the month of April 2023.
That was government statistician Professor Samuel Kobina Enim. Now, away from that, Director of Policy Research at Chamber of Agribusiness, Kojo Ahiakpa, says the new directive from Ministry of Food and Agriculture on the Planting for Food and Jobs program will guarantee markets for farmers and reduce risk associated with investing in the sector. Instead of subsidies and imports, the ministry will from this year implement a value chain approach where outgrowers will acquire inputs from government and distribute to member farmers.
Another KPI that we also see that will be a guaranteed market for produce, because there will be off-takers and aggregators who will be directly working with the farmers. And so the farmers are guaranteed market. We tend to overlook market, but to us, market is one of the major burdens of farmers, because if you produce and at the end of the day you're unable to sell, it doesn't make economic sense for you to invest in the first place. The next thing we also look at is that it's going to open up a new, it's something that is already existing. However, we also see that other stakeholders within the value chain are also going to be more comfortable in investing into the sector, because it's going to reduce the risk in the sector that makes it difficult for non-agri people to take on such risks to invest in the agribusiness sector. Because if you see government directly involved and stakeholders directly involved in the sector, everybody is directly involved. You're able to provide more specialist services like extension services, private extension services, not only leaving to the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, which will complement government actions in helping the farmers to ensure productivity.
You heard the Director of Policy Research at Chamber of Agribusiness, Kojo Ahiakpa. In more news, as cybersecurity remains a concern with the adoption of technology in the country, telco giant MTN says it is investing in infrastructure to ensure its clients are protected. There have been reports of cyber attacks, with Google, for instance, issuing an alert to Gmail and YouTube users regarding the emerging phishing attack that poses a significant threat to their online security. Guido Sopime is a senior manager for customer planning and analytics at MTN.
Technology is a good master, but can really be a very bad servant. And that's why we have to be responsible with the use of technology, and that's to ensure that there's a lot of safety, there's a lot of security, and even the young ones, parental control. What our kids are exposed to because of technology and the proliferation of internet today, I think it's an area we need to focus on, and we are doing a lot in that direction.
Senior Manager for Customer Planning and Analytics, Guido Sopime there. On the international front, prices for milk, airline tickets and new cars fell in the U.S. last month, helping drive inflation to its lowest rate in 2 years. Inflation, the pace at which prices rise, was 4.9% in the 12 months to April, official figures show. That was down from 5% in March and marks the 10th month in a row that prices rise have slowed. That's how we end business news. Do stay tuned for sports.
Welcome to the sports segment here on Hot Edition. My name is Oriku Amfofo, and we started off with the UEFA Champions League, where the second semi-final takes off today later at 7 p.m. and is between eternal rivals AC Milan and Inter Milan. Now, these two sides, their rivalry dates all the way back to 115 years ago. The two sides last met in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinal in the 2004-2005 season, and there is a place in the final up for grabs this time round. AC Milan will be playing at home first, although they will both be sharing the San Siro Stadium. And head coach Stefan Pioli of the Rossoneri is confident that his side can show up tonight, but would need a lot more than their soul, and they would also need to demonstrate quality on the night.
Yes, absolutely, yes. I think that the soul of this team has always been there, but we cannot rely only on our soul and on our spirit if we do not add our quality as a team, our attention, our focus. This night, yes, I'll be sleeping tight, but yeah, it is up to the doctor telling us how Rafael is doing. If he's okay, I will call him. If he is not okay, I will not call him.
Well, Rafael Leao has been at the center of attention for this game because there has been questions around his fitness. The lineups are ready. We'll be going through that pretty shortly. But before that, let's hear from the main man for AC Milan, who's been leading the line for the Italian side, Olivier Giroud, who speaks about why he left Chelsea and how he settled so far at AC Milan.
The last months at Chelsea, it was a bit difficult for me. I had a lack of game time, and I needed a new challenge. And for me, it was an evidence to join Milan AC. I was really proud, but I couldn't hope better. The first year, after 10, 11 years, the club was waiting for that. It was amazing. And this year, as I said, we are still in a race for top 4 Champions League, and it's amazing to play a derby for semi-final. And we can always do better, but the things are really going well for the club, for myself, and I'm very proud of it. Even more because I'm not that young anymore, but I'm still hungry. I still want to carry on as a competitor, and I'm still hungry for trophies.
Well, Olivier Giroud says he's hungry for trophies and he's potentially 3 matches away for winning the Champions League for AC Milan. What a historic feat that would be. But first off, they have to go past their rivals Inter Milan tonight in the semi-finals. The first leg at the San Siro, but on paper, it's AC Milan who play home first. Let's just quickly go through the team news ahead of the 7 p.m. kickoff. And the big news coming in from the AC Milan camp is that Rafael Leao is not fit enough to be involved tonight. and he finds himself outside the squad. But Mike Magnan starts in goal. Calabria, Kerr, Tomori, and Theo Hernandez make the back four. In midfield is Tonali, Krunic, and then Salamakis, Benacer, and then Luis Diaz would, Diaz would be behind, Brahim Diaz would be behind Olivier Giroud up front. For Inter Milan is Andrea Onana in goal. Damien, Acerbi, Bastoni make the back three. In the midfield, it's a flat five of Dumfries, Barella, Chaganoglu, Mkhitaryan, Dimarco, and up front, Lautaro Martinez, partners Edin Dzeko. And so that's the lineup for the big Milan derby later tonight. We're bringing you more updates on News 360 at TV3 for the sports segment. My name is Oreku Ampofo, and up next on Hot Edition is Entertainment with Akofa.
Thank you very much, Oreku, for that one. Very heavy names there. But coming up on Entertainment tonight, the battle lines have been drawn as 4 family dance groups clash for the ultimate at the Big O Family Dance Finals. After weeks of intense dance battles and evictions, the grand finale comes off on Saturday, May 13 at the La Macdan AstroTurf. Now the question remains, who wins the maiden Big O Family Dance Challenge? Here's a report put together by 3 Entertainment Desk.
So when you see me, just clap.
The anxiety and the scary moments of eviction are all over. After weeks of intense dance battle, the final showdown of Big O Family Dance is fast approaching. 4 families, the Thunder, Massive, Unity, and Amate families are set to compete for the ultimate prize in the grand finale of the Big O Family Dance Show.
I'll tell you this, that it was a tough one bringing the numbers down. It was tough. But a few things made the difference with regards to dedication, listening to judges' critiques and actually sticking to them. There are a few families that actually took, paid attention to everything that the judges said and went away, worked on them, came back and presented themselves even better. With those, you could tell that they can easily be shaped into great dancers.
Host of the show, the affable Crystal Kwame Aye, has assured audiences of a thrilling experience.
If you've been thrilled all throughout the weeks, we're literally bringing everything to the finals. I mean, we wish we could have the show all year round, but you know what? There has to be a final showdown. We have to get a winner at all costs. I'm promising you fantastic performances, not just by the families competing, but by also other artists out there. I want to keep things a surprise for you.
Seasoned choreographer, dance god Lloyd, former dance champion Ajete Sowa, and entertainment executive Robert Kla will sit as judges. There will also be a surprise guest judge. Viewers will be entertained with creatively curated dance routines, not just from the competing families, but other guest performers. Who wins the maiden Big O Dance Challenge? The grand finale comes your way this Saturday, May 13 at 8 p.m. sharp. Venue is a Macdan AstroTurf, La.
So come in your numbers, come and support your favorite family. It's free entry. It's all for you. We are going to boogie, boogie, boogie all night until we get the final winner. I told you, great performances to come through, so you can't miss it at all at the Macdan AstroTurf in La.
Well, let's do some more stories now. Ghanaian rapper Chiame Kwame has expressed his confidence in winning another VGMA Artist of the Year award before retiring from the music industry. Speaking on Ijume Ijuma with Osei Felicia on Unia FM, the rap doctor said that he has what it takes to win the prestigious award once again. I will definitely win another Artist of the Year award before I retire from the music industry, just for my children and posterity's sake. It's not such a difficult feat. You only have to get hits, create an album or an EP. You can win with a single, but it's advisable to submit an album which has at least 3 songs that are national hits. Play more shows and more activations, which can help you to become relevant, he said. Now, the rapper, who has won several VGMA awards in the past, including the Artist of the Year award in 2009, recounted his experience during his era and how he won against Hip Life duo Prior. Now, the rapper's confidence in winning another Artist of the Year award has sparked excitement among his fans who are eagerly anticipating his next release. And finally, reggae dancehall artist Stonebwoy's highly anticipated album Fifth Dimension has made an impressive debut on the esteemed Billboard Reggae Albums chart, securing the number 8 spot. Now the chart ranks the top reggae albums based on sales, streams and radio airplay, making it a coveted platform for artists to showcase their work on a global scale. Music blog Muse Africa shared the news on the entry on Twitter today, which has been met with positive reactions from fans and critics alike. That will be all for entertainment on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofa. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back at 8 p.m. with Wind Down. Alfred?
Yes, definitely. How can we end the day without a wind up?
But we have a question to ask as well, though. So yeah,
what's the question?
We're finding out how people recover from, or what they do to get over a breakup. So they'll be sharing their thoughts on that one. Yeah, really.
Just drink cold water.
Oh wow.
Have a cold bath.
And then it will be over.
Just go to bed.
No, but I've heard stories where sometimes, in the middle of the night, that is where you really feel the breakup, because then you're crying and nobody.
Just drink cold water so you can sleep well.
Really?
You have a
this
cold
your
bath,
advice, dear.
Cold bath. Because already now your system is hot because of the heartbreak. So take a cold bath and then go to sleep.
Oh, goodness me. Yeah, so we'll get thoughts from our listeners so they can share.
Yeah. Good stuff. Wind down the cover at 8 o'clock. But before we go, the Ghana Standards Authority has shut down Furnace Metal Technology Company, a local electric cable and copper rod manufacturing plant in Pram, said to be operating without proper certification. The Chinese-owned company was found to be operating without certification. Its products also lacked importation certification and some other information that the Ghana Standards Authority needed, including product batches and the numbers, date of manufacture and expiry, and the name and address of the producer. The company, according to the Ghana Standards Authority, was also deceitful about the origin of its products. The violations were discovered during a market sweep operation by the Ghana Standards Authority officers aimed at removing substandard and inferior products from the Ghanaian market to prevent causing significant harm to consumers. Georgianti, head of enforcement at the Ghana Standards Authority, who led the team during the operation, stressed the importance of manufacturers complying with relevant regulations to ensure consumer safety. He said the Ghana Standards Authority will continue to enforce standards and regulations to protect consumers and ensure a level playing field for all businesses. Also, to the northern region, the Tamale Technical University chapter of the Technical University Teachers of Ghana, that's TUTAG, has withdrawn its services with immediate effect. The action is in protest against what they described as the delay by management of the university to fully implement the agreed formula for the end of service benefits of their members, which is highly unacceptable. The association has also threatened to take legal action against the university management if it fails to implement the agreed end of service benefit of its members. Christopher Macron is following up quite closely on this particular story. Definitely bring you a lot more updates in our subsequent bulletins here on 3FM 92.7. Well, that's it for Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. The drive continues with Giovanni, AJ Sapong and DJ Faculty. Join me at 10 p.m. on TV3 for Ghana Tonight. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good evening.